Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Crafting Christians. This is episode 7. Episode 6 from last week was not titled Crafting Christians, but this is episode 7. Today we're going to look at verse mapping. It's not exactly crafting, but the crafting came about in trying to produce this video to share with you. I did not videotape the lesson on Sunday in class, and in trying to videotape it tonight, that did not go well. So I backed up and did it a different way. So the crafting portion of this is crafting a video to demonstrate verse mapping. So bear with me. Verse mapping this is my version of verse mapping or diagramming. It's unlocking the scripture. Oftentimes we'll read a passage of scripture. We've heard it before, we've seen it before, we think we understand it. We don't make the time to study it, to look deeper at it. We don't make the time to apply it to our lives and explore it. Part of creating a verse map is creating that time and space that will allow you to do the process, to explore the scripture, either a verse or a passage, to unlock it, to deconstruct a sentence, deconstruct the verse, deconstruct the passage, and then begin piecing it back together again so that you can gain some understanding from it. That's kind of my definition, my understanding of it. I like a free-form version of this. I just like a blank piece of paper that allows me to go anywhere on the page that I need to go to. You can find online templates to use. You can create your own form, but I like to personally use the free form, just blank space. I start by writing the verse. You can look online at scripture writing. There's lots of reasons to write scripture, lots of ways to write the scripture. Even illustrated. But for verse mapping, you simply start by writing the scripture. So we're starting today with rejoice always from from Thessalonians 5:16, 1 Thessalonians 5:16, rejoice always. So what does that mean? What does that say to me? How can I apply that to my life? After you write the scripture, you start looking at the words. Rejoice. What does that word mean? What does it stand for? What is it in the Greek? And that's where I will go to Bible Hub. I'll look up the verse and scroll down the page. You can see various translations of the scripture of that verse. And then you also, when you scroll down far enough, you will get the Greek, or if you're in the Old Testament, a Hebrew language interpretation to go by. I'll then start asking questions, looking at specific phrases or comments, what my thoughts are. I'll start jotting those down, sometimes just randomly around the page. For this particular passage, one of the things I explored was who, what, when, why, and where, and how. So who is to rejoice? How are we to rejoice? When are we to rejoice? Why are we to rejoice? Were some things to explore. One of the things to do is to put yourself into the scripture. So I am to be cheerful, to rejoice, to be calmly happy, to be well, one of the definitions of the word rejoice. So I am to be these things. So that leads to the question then of how can I be calmly happy? How can I be well, spiritually so? How can I be happy and rejoice always? In answer to the question, how can I be happy, content, well, calmly, cheerful, and so on, rejoicing always? How can I be that? That led me to the commentaries, and specifically Matthew Henry's commentary, which talked about rejoicing in creature comforts. I have everything that I need. God provides all. Um, I have a good life. I'm physically happy and well. I have God in my life, and that's the most important thing. Being connected with God, because God is in my life, with God in my life, being connected to God in my life, being religious, spiritual, um, prayerful, spending time listening, studying the Word, and so on. All those things will help me and enable me to be happy and content and well in everything, in all things, and all the time. So there you have it, a brief, pieced together, crafted video of verse mapping, my version, as of today, November 4th, 2019. Peace and blessings. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. Explore verse mapping and how you might use it in your life. God bless.